Hey guys! So I just wanted to be real for a second, and in the spirit of being real, yes, I am on the floor in my bathroom right now. That is because this was the best backdrop I had, so we're just gonna go with it. Basically, there's a lot of talk going on right now about mental health awareness. I mean, if you guys saw Finding Dory, that's like my new favorite movie. So cute, baby Dory is perfect. But they also really did a great job of kind of portraying that it's okay to not be okay up in here. And that's something that I really needed to hear. And so seeing that from Disney was pretty cool. But it's happening everywhere, and so I just kind of wanted to join the conversation a little bit. I have been living in Nashville for almost 3 years now. I'm a singer-songwriter if you've never visited my channel before. So pretty much for as long as I can remember, I have been struggling with anxiety, GAD, also a bit of a hypochondriac, I will admit that. Most of the time, well, okay, not most of the time. I'd like to say that most of the time it's fine, and sometimes anxiety bothers me, but the reality is that it's pretty much all the time. Sometimes I have days where I don't really think about it, but most of the time it's always there in the back of my brain. And so I was just thinking, you know, before I moved here, or even now, like, what kind of advice would I have wanted to know, or what would I have wanted to hear from somebody that's going through it? This video says the music industry, because that's where I am, but I feel like this is pretty relatable, whatever your career goals are, whatever field you're in right now. You know, if you have a passion and you're trying to chase it and your thoughts are getting in the way, then I feel you. So in the music industry, there's a lot of things that are expected of you, especially as an artist. I think the perception with Instagram and everything these days is that you always have to be put together, and you always have to either look a certain way or be acting, you know, with networking and stuff, you have to be outgoing and you have to show up at these events and stuff. And that can be really hard sometimes when you just don't feel like it. I mean, there are days when it's hard for me to even go to the movies with my friends for reasons that I can't really explain. It just feels hard. And so trying to motivate yourself to get out there and go take meetings and be a socialite and, you know, just navigate the business side of things, it's definitely scary. I think a lot of times the biggest part of that is that you just kind of feel like you're the only person going through something. At least that's how I feel. And that's not necessarily just with anxiety, that's with everything. I mean, everybody has their own battles that they're facing, and I think for me, my anxiety comes, one of the places that it comes from is wanting to be a people pleaser all the time, and I'm just afraid that I'm gonna let people down, and afraid that if I don't show up to something, or if I'm late, or anything goes wrong, that people are going to look down on me or not want to work with me. And I think that it's really easy to hide that, especially now with social media and filters and everything. You can definitely edit your life, as we all know, and just show people the highlight reel, and I'm definitely guilty of doing that as well. So you don't necessarily know that there's other people out there who are having the same thoughts as you and having the same struggles. And so that's kind of why I wanted to do this, first and foremost, just to say that, you know, there's other people out there who feel the way you do, and it's not the end of the world, and you're not going to sink into your brain and feel this way forever. There are ways, not necessarily to make it go away, unless if you can figure that out, please give me a call. But there are ways to kind of help, and I just wanted to share some things that I've learned and some things that helped me throughout navigating my career, and just little things you can do to make life a little easier every day. My mom actually gave me this book. It looks super cheesy and I feel like a dork carrying it around, but I keep this in my bag all the time. You could probably get some of these at Barnes and Noble or something, but it just has like things like this says, for when you lack confidence. And so if you're sitting at the airport, like that's a big trigger for me. The airport stresses me out. If I'm at the airport and I start to feel, you know, just really out of control, just pull out this book. It just helps to have something to focus on. Another thing that I have done is I made these signs and I put them at my old house. They were in my closet, but now they're up in my bathroom. But this one says things that feel good, and this one says things that should be avoided. I just kind of made this cute list that's pretty to look at. So, and I put it somewhere where I would see it all the time. If I'm feeling bad, I can look at this list and say, okay, things that feel good, having a cup of tea, reading a book, walking, running, going to dance class, all these different things that I, can get an idea and be like, oh, that's right, that makes me feel better. I'm gonna do this little thing right now. This one says things that should be avoided in case I am ever on that side of the line, and sleeping all day, boys that stress you out. Can I get an amen? A big one is caffeine. I did kind of want to talk about this on its own because coffee, we all run on coffee. I love coffee. I could talk about that for a whole nother video. But the problem is, in the music industry, there's coffee everywhere. You go to a studio, you go to a co-write, hey, do you want some coffee? Sure. And so it's so easy to say yes to that, but caffeine is one of the biggest triggers for anxiety, at least for me it is. If I even have a cup of coffee, I'm already kind of like jittery all the time, and if I have a cup of coffee, I'm like shaking for the rest of the day. So sometimes I feel like I really need it, and sometimes I cave, but I always regret it because it just makes you more miserable and it stimulates the wrong kind of effect in your body. And if you have a stressful day ahead of you and then you have a cup of coffee, sometimes that's all it takes to just push you over the edge. So trying to avoid that, I feel like is a big thing that not a lot of people really talk about. So I just kind of wanted to share this just because. So this is something that I wrote, I think this was the week before I moved to Nashville almost 3 years ago. I know a lot of people will write down things that they're worried about and then throw them away, and that helps them. It feels like they've thrown away the problem, and that's cool. But for me, I always try to keep those things and then go back and read them, because you go back and read something that you were worried about, 2 months ago, 3 years ago, it's very easy to see, oh, hey, that all worked out. So whatever I'm going through right now, that's gonna work out too. This was kind of just me trying to get my thoughts out. Literally, this says, what if I move and I'm feeling so anxious I decide to never leave the apartment? What if I sit in my room for the rest of my life and write songs and have cats and watch Gossip Girl? What if my hair grows so long because I never leave and I turn into Rapunzel and I become a permanent hermit? That is literally something that I was afraid of. And now that seems so silly to me, but it was real. I was so scared about being on my own and just being in a strange city, and I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I thought if I didn't make friends, I was just never gonna leave my house. It just kind of helps to look back at those things and to remember the times when it was really tough and be like, you know what? I made it through that, and whatever problem is going on right now, it might be huge, it might be as small as, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late for work today. Your life is just gonna keep going whether you want it to or not, and most of the time it's gonna work out okay. A lot of times when I'm feeling really nervous and I can't figure out why, my first instinct is to just cancel everything and stay home and just lay in bed or watch TV or something. And it took me a long time to learn that that was not the most healthy response for me. I feel like when you get so nervous and your stomach starts hurting and you're just like, you can't think straight, of course your first instinct is gonna be, oh, well, I'll just stay home, like I can't see anyone right now. But a lot of times, if you can just make it 15 minutes until your friend comes to pick you up, you get in their car, and you start talking to them or listening to music, or you get to where you're going, you will feel so much better if you just push yourself to go. And it took me a long time, for a while that was my first choice whenever I was feeling anxious, was just to stay home. But I think about a year ago, I don't remember what it was, but I just realized, you know what? If I stay home, I'm gonna keep wallowing in this feeling and it's not gonna leave. It's gonna be stuck inside my body and I'm not gonna be able to shake it. But if I go somewhere and do something, I'm gonna have a good time, I'm gonna forget most likely that I was nervous, and I'm gonna have a memory or a picture or something that was fun. Honestly, I don't really understand why I'm here doing what I'm doing. I don't understand why I have had this passion for my entire life to be a performer when I also have this anxiety around people. It doesn't really add up, but I just kind of have to trust that it's gonna be worth it, and all you can really do is say a prayer and know that things happen for a reason. The hardest part is just getting past that initial anticipation of the event, and it's just getting past that, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this unknown thing. But as soon as you do it, it's gonna be easy from the rest of the way out. And to wrap up, I just kind of want to encourage you wherever wherever you're at, that you're not the only person that feels that way. I do. And I just hope that this helps your day a little bit. If there's something that you're nervous about, just shake it off. I know that it's so hard, but whatever it is that you want to chase, you just gotta put one foot down and start running. I hope that this helped you and made you feel like you can do something cool today and not be nervous about it. I would love to be friends. Follow me on Instagram, Amy Peters Music. That's where I am the most. That's where I'm replying the most. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you want to see me ramble more like this. I'll see you next time.